distribution systems, and later we are going to start with the concept related to power quality. Okay, I have also shared regarding the syllabus point of view, the module number 5 contents. We are going to start with the distribution systems. We will be having a bit of introduction, and we'll be having a typical outline of what a distribution system will contain or how it has been laid, okay, along with the feeders, distributors, and service means. And we are going to discuss first thing, that is, even though the syllabus starts with AC distribution systems, we are going to deal with the DC distribution systems first, because most of the times they have asked regarding the DC distribution system. So next we'll be going on to the AC distribution system. Okay, so there we'll be primarily talking about the first one, that is primary AC distribution system. Second one, the secondary AC distribution system, and with different types of loads that are connected and different feeder arrangement that is there, and what happens in case of three-phase three-wire system, three-phase four-wire system, and all. Okay, all those things we are going to discuss in detail in the first half of the distribution system. Next, we are going to talk about the reliability and quality of the distribution system. So overall, we call it as power quality concept. Okay, so we are going to have the definition of reliability, of failure and probability concepts, limitations of distribution systems, power quality, and reliability rates. Okay, so all those things we are going to discuss in detail in module number 5, the second half of it. So that is how we are going to start this distribution system. That is the first one, which is the introduction part. Okay, so we are going to start with the concept of distribution systems initially. And what do you generally mean by a distribution system is the first question that comes to my mind. And why do we need a distribution system? Okay, so I'll give a simple analogy where you can certainly understand a water tank. Okay, a simple water tank on your house, on top of your house generally. So you have many such taps which are there at your house. Okay, so you might have 3 to 4 taps or 5 taps or 6 which are being connected. So if you turn on all the taps which are there, there will be an increase in the flow of water, and certainly the tank, whatever the single tank that is there, it gets emptied. Okay, so if you turn on only one of the tap, the time required for the tank to empty is greater. Okay, so that is it takes more time to empty it. Similarly, you have this distribution system where you get power from the transmission end. Okay, so after the transmission of power is being done, okay, you get the power to the distribution system. Next, after this distribution system, so you have two types of loads. That is, first one, that is the industrial load. Second one, you have the residential load. So industrial loads are the one which draw more power. Okay, just because of the machinery that has been used in the industry side. That is the reason why they draw more power in the industry side. So next, you got the residential applications or residential side. Okay, so where you will be having the consumption of electrical power compared to the industry side to be less. Okay, so this is how the distribution systems generally operate. That is on the higher end, or we call it as bulk loads. That is the industrial side loads there. And next we have got the residential loads. Okay, so you see that you have the electrical energy that has been produced. That's what I was talking. So through a transmission line network, it reaches the distribution system. Okay, so it is quite difficult to have a line between the transmission and the distribution. So directly from the generation, we cannot reach the distribution system because of the losses that are there. And all the systems are right now that are interconnected. Okay, so this part of the power system where you will be having the distribution of electrical power for consumers to utilize it properly is called as the distribution system. Okay, so distribution system is the part of the power system network which distributes power to the consumers for utilization. Okay, so as I told you here, we have got an example of circulatory system in a human body. So the transmission system may be compared with the arteries in the human body, and the distribution system with the capillaries that are there. Okay, if you are from the biology background, you would be able to understand what you mean by arteries and what are the capillaries that are installed there. So that is related to the circulatory system, blood circulatory system that is there. Okay, so that is where you will be having the distribution system, which is the main source of AC power supply to the city. Okay, to the city or the rural areas where you have the substations nearby and the distribution station. Okay, so let us start in detail. What do you mean by a distribution station or a distribution system? So first let us define, as I already defined it. So you have the part of the power system which distributes electrical power for the local use or the local city supply is called as the distribution system. So that part of the power system which distributes electric power, or there is a flow of power from the distribution station, substation, to the loads which are there at the industry side or at the consumer side is called as a distribution system. Okay, so in general, we have this distribution system being fed from the nearest substation. So overall, you have this substation, or you can generally call it as a distribution station. That is the substation there. So entire system is called as a distribution system, which is fed by the transmission system and the consumer meters. Okay, so we generally call it as feeders, distributors, and service means. Okay, so feeders, distributors, and service means. So this is how you can have the interconnection. The center part here is called as the substation, and the connection from the substation to the nearest feeder. Okay, so nearest, I mean, from the substation, you have a connection to the distributor, and from the distributor, AB, BC, CD are all called as the distributor. Okay, so let us understand what do you mean by a feeder in case of a distribution system. A feeder is a conductor which connects the substation or the localized generating station to the area where the power is to be distributed. Okay, so a feeder is a conductor which connects the substation or localized generating station to the area where the power is to be distributed. So if you observe that, it is a connection that you see with the help of large area of cross section of the wires from the substation to the area which is to be connected. Generally, if you see the feeder, there are no tappings which are taken from the feeder, such that it has a constant current carrying capability of this conductor there. Okay, so the main consideration in the design of a feeder is the current carrying capacity of the feeder. Okay, so next we have got a term called as a distributor. We call AB, BC, CD, and DA. Okay, so all the systems here are called as the distributors. Okay, so a distributor is a conductor from which the tappings are taken for supply to the consumers. So we call all these systems, that is the sides of the square, what you're seeing there, that are considered to be the distributors. So the current through a distributor is not constant because tappings are generally taken from it along the various length. Okay, so it is just like the tap and the water tank arrangement that I gave you right now. So you have the distributors that are present there in each area, and each area or a city if you take it. So there also we'll be dividing it into certain areas where you have large consumption of power and medium and also the small consumption. Okay, so depending on the current carrying capacity of certain areas or the power consumption area, so you will be identifying where or which area draws the higher power. Okay, so the current through a distributor is not constant because, as I told you, its tappings are taken from various places along its length. While designing a distributor, voltage drop along its length is the main consideration, since the limit of variation is plus or minus 6% of the rated value of the consumer terminals. Okay, so there is a limit, or there is a certain standards which you need to follow. So all these considerations which you need to keep in mind in case of a distributor. Okay, so when I talk about service means, the next one, the tappings which are generally taken from the distributor to meet the consumer terminals or consumer side loads are called as the service means. So it is a small cable which connects the distributor to the consumer terminals. Okay, so this is the typical representation of a distribution system. Okay, so any doubts up to this point regarding the introduction and also the typical layout of a distribution scheme? Any doubts up to this point? Any doubts up to this point? Anyone? You can feel free to unmute yourself and you can let me know. So these are quite important. So feeders, if you go for a field visit, feeders, distributor, and service mains are said to be the most common important thing in case of a distribution station. Okay, so that is the important thing once you talk about the feeders, distributors, and the service means. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, assuming that there are no doubts in the topic that I taught you just now. So how you are going to classify the distribution system? So the first type of classification of the distribution system is the nature of current. So you have the nature of current. Generally, what is the nature of current that is available? Like you have two types. What are those? Bhavana case, can you tell me what are those types of current?
AC and DC.
Exactly right. So you have types which are classified as AC distribution system and DC distribution system, depending on the flow of current. Okay, that is either AC current or DC current. Okay, so you have nowadays AC system which is universally adopted for distribution of electrical power, as it is simple and more economical than the direct current method. Okay, so that is the reason why we call it as the distribution system, which is AC, and the next one is said to be a DC. Okay, so DC distribution system and AC distribution system. Okay, so next we have got types of construction. According to the type of construction, this distribution system may be classified as overhead system and underground system. Okay, so right now I'll tell you what is the major difference between those two things, which is overhead system and the underground system. So this overhead system is generally employed for distribution, as it is 5 to 10 times cheaper than the equivalent underground system. So generally, if you want to have underground cables, as I told you in the previous module, we have many sheathing or insulation that is to be provided. It should be of higher grade. So economic wise, if I talk about economic wise, underground system is only preferred in case of any pollutions that are happening or there is any increase in the population. Okay, so that is where you will be going for underground system. Okay, and depending on the weather condition also. And if you want to prefer for a normal city like Mysore or somewhere else, okay, so you will be going for the overhead system. Generally, overhead system 98% of the times it is the overhead system that has been seen nowadays. Okay, so if things improve, okay, so things improve, we'll be going for the underground system also. Okay, so that is depending on the laws, and those are energy markets which we have to like keep in mind. All those things we have to keep in mind before taking a decision to go for the underground system. Okay, so next we got a scheme of connection. According to the scheme of connection, the distribution system may be classified as, I mean, I'm talking about the scheme of connection here. So that is the radial system, ring main system, and interconnected system. So we are going to talk about all these three types of system in a distribution system when it comes to the connection wise. Okay, so connection wise, how it has been laid. So according to the connection, the distribution system may be classified as a radial system, ring main system, or the interconnected system. So each and every type of system is having its own advantage as well as the disadvantage. Okay, so this is the classification of distribution systems. Okay, so anything up to this point, you can let me know, or you can talk with me regarding the uh, concept, whatever that we have covered till now. So if you have any doubts, you can let me know right now. Okay, so the next concept is quite simple. That is the AC distribution system. Okay, so I'll leave it to you right now. We'll have a discussion right now. What do you mean by primary AC distribution and secondary AC distribution? So recall the single line diagram and let me know what do you mean by primary AC distribution and secondary AC distribution. Yes, Revant, you can unmute yourself and you can let me know. Revant Mauli.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, Revant. You can talk with me. You can talk loud. No problem. Yeah, what do you understand by primary AC distribution? Recall the single line diagram.
A
What do you
primary
mean by
distribution
primary?
from the main substation to the substations nearest to the load is called the primary substations, where 11 or 33 kilovolt is stepped down to around 11 kilovolt or less than that.
Okay, fine. So what about secondary?
Secondary, where again it is nearer to the load, where step down process takes place for 410 to 240 volts, which is then feed it to the distribution.
Yes, very good, Revant. So it's a nice answer. Anyone who would like to add on to what Revant has just expressed regarding primary and secondary AC distribution? Anyone who would like to add on to anything else? Kusuma, Sheetal, Akshita, anyone? Kushal, anyone who would like to answer a few points regarding that? Rakshita N, Rakshita BA, Sheetal yes, Siddling Swami, Sri Priya, anyone who would like to? Yes, Siddling Swami, you can answer. Okay. Anyone who would like, anyone? It's not only those people who I call the names. Anyone who would like to add on to anyone or help anyone in understanding this concept well?
So in primary, like whatever the voltage needs to be supplied, for that the what power we need to give will be dependent on the distance of the substation available. Whereas in secondary distribution system, you have separate primary distribution which gives power to the substations, and secondary is independent of it.
Yes. Okay. So let me just highlight. Fine. So as I told you earlier, just before the uh, commencement of this module, we have the single line diagram. Okay. So I wanted you to keep the aspect of a single line diagram. If you recall the single line diagram, after the transmission line, the transmitted power from the generating station reaches the substation or the nearest distribution station. Correct. Now, if I want to have this AC distribution, the flow of current will be AC in nature. So I have further classified it as AC, that is primary AC and secondary AC. Okay, so keeping the concept of magnitude of current and also a transformer, because a transformer is one of the important equipment. Okay, keeping yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, so keeping the concept of the primary AC and the secondary AC in mind, so we have to keep the change in the magnitude of current. So because in primary AC transmission system, we'll be going for the connection directly from the substation. Okay, so if it is having a substation of 66 kilovolt or 33 kilovolt, so we'll be directly connecting it after a step down transformer to the industrial loads. Okay, so after the industrial loads, we directly connect it to the industrial loads, that is 11 kilovolt or 6.6 or 3.3 kilovolt. So then we have the secondary AC distribution there. Okay, so if you observe the property which is related to the primary AC distribution, so it operates at a higher level of voltage when you compare it with the secondary voltage. Okay, secondary AC transmission. So it handles large blocks of electrical energy and you have larger losses that are there. And later you will be having the amount of power, as Chetan told. So the amount of power to be conveyed and the distance of the substation which is to be fed. Okay, so all those things will be have to kept in mind. So the voltage which is being used for primary distribution depends on the amount of power and the distance of the substation which is to be fed. Okay, so due to the economic consideration, the primary distribution is carried out at three-phase three-wire system. Okay, so that is the reason why we want to have the three-phase three-wire system. So there is no definite line between the transmission and the distribution according to the voltage or the bulk capacity. So again, it is divided into primary AC distribution and secondary AC distribution. Okay, so that is the reason why in an electrical distribution system, so you have the transmission side and the consumer meters which are connected after the secondary distribution. Okay, so if you go through it, so primary AC distribution is generally operates at a voltage somewhat higher than that of the general utilization and handles large blocks of electrical energy, and the voltage which is required for the primary distribution depends on the amount of power to be conveyed and the distance of the substation required to be fed. Okay, so the most commonly used one is the 11 kilovolt, 6.6 kilovolt or the 3.3 kilovolt. Okay, so due to this economic considerations, you have it as a three-phase three-wire system. Okay, so this is what you call here. We got the substation and you got the substation 33 kilovolt and 11 kilovolt, and later you will be having the primary distribution part after this dotted line. Okay, so you have consumers that are there, or there are low voltage substations which are there. Okay, so from the main substations you can reach different substations of lower values of voltage from the higher one, or also the big consumers or the bulk loads which are to be connected. Okay, so electrical power from the generating station is transmitted at a higher voltage. At the substation, it is being kept at 11 kilovolt with the help of the step down transformer, and the power is being supplied to the various substations for distribution or big consumers at this voltage. So this forms the high voltage distribution. And also in case if you want to meet the a low voltage distribution system also. Okay, so next we have got secondary distribution system. What do you mean by secondary distribution system? Anyone right now, can you highlight? Look at this figure. Let me show you the figure. Yeah, can you highlight what do you mean by a low voltage or secondary AC distribution? Yes, Janavi, can you tell me what do you mean by secondary AC distribution? Looking at this diagram.
So it has a 4-wire system,
Correct, correct.
and it has voltage distribution range of 230 volt as a minimum distribution and a 400 volt of maximum distribution.
Okay. Now, why do we need to go for 3-phase 4-wire system?
Because of the neutral, sir.
Yes, fine. Neutral is there. Why?
Sir, for the domestic use purpose.
Yes, very good, Suman. Very good. Yes, domestic. And what we have to keep in mind is we can have the household connections. That is right. What Suman told is right. So we will be connecting this 3-phase delta to star distribution transformer. Why we are going to use a star transformer on the other side is, okay, so the connections are to be made along with the neutral connection, as Revan told. You have 3 phases, R, Y, and B, and the other phase, that is the neutral phase, is used to connect the single phase AC supply. Okay, single phase AC appliance, whatever that we are going to use, you are going to connect it and you are going to supply it to the household. Okay, or the single phase appliances that are connected. Okay, so if you want a 3-phase delta connection, all the 3 phases are there, and you can directly connect it to the like the small scale industries, which generally uses one of the apparatus or appliance as a 3-phase motor. Okay, so one thing that you have to keep in mind is how the connections are made in case of a 3-phase transformer. So we call the 3-phase auto transformer. In your syllabus, you would have generally come across a 3-phase auto transformer. One is the delta and the star. Okay, so in always the distribution system, the secondary side of a 3-phase transformer is a star. Okay, do remember this. The secondary side is always the star connection, and the other side, which is where the high power applications or high power is to be drawn, because it is at 11 kilovolt, the voltage is high. Okay, and it is stepped down to 0.4 kilovolt, which is 440 volts. Are you getting it? So this side is said to be the delta connection, and this side is said to be the star connection. As you can see, the neutral point is extended over here, and it is directly connected to the household. Okay, so that is the reason why we prefer delta connection for the high voltage and star connection for the low voltage appliances. Okay, so whether you are connecting it directly from the transformer to the load. Okay, so these are the simple concepts that you have to keep in mind. So in case if you are going to analyze any circuit, so why star is preferred, why delta is preferred, all those things you have to keep in mind, and then you have to analyze. Okay, so moving on, I just wanted to highlight regarding the consumer side. So step down transformers are used, and nearby your houses distribution transformers will be there. So from this 3-phase conversion, this is the distribution transformer which would be there. So it is being converted to the delta to star. So delta side is the primary winding, star side, secondary side is the star side winding, and the connections are being made, and you have many such houses, and also the one of the factories if it is there, so you can make use of the 3-phase connection also. Okay, so that is where we require the secondary AC distribution system. Okay, so let us move on to the next one. Why do we prefer a DC distribution? So in case of DC distribution, as I wanted to tell you, most of the apparatus which are DC in nature, or appliance which are DC in nature, so it needs to be operated, or it needs to operate on a variable speed, such like a DC motor or any electrochemical work that is to be done. So battery which is to be stored. Okay, so that is why where you need to convert the AC power into a DC power at the substation by using a converter machinery. Okay, so we call it as right now these days we'll be having the power electronic converters. Okay, so the conventional one, which we generally use in 70s or 60s, we'll be going for mercury arc rectifiers, rotary converters, and MG sets. Okay, motor generator sets we'll be having. So this DC supply from the substation, maybe which is of 2-wire or 3-wire distribution. Okay, so let us understand what is a 2-wire and a 3-wire distribution depending on the circuit diagram over here. So 2-wire, positive and negative, that is there. So if the lamps are being connected, it draws the current and the lamp is turned on, or the motor which is connected at DC motor, that you can make use of it. So next what you have one more wire which is called as the neutral wire. Okay, so this neutral wire is introduced such that, for example, in a 2-wire system you have 220 volt. So what would be the voltage in case of a 3-wire if it is at the midpoint? What would be the voltage if it is at the midpoint? So if V is 220 volt in a 2-wire system, I draw a neutral wire. So I want to measure the voltage between positive and the neutral wire, and negative and the neutral wire. So what would be? What would be the voltage? Anyone? Anyone? It would be at the midpoint. The neutral wire would more or less be the midpoint. Can you let me know now what would be the voltage between the line and the neutral wire, and the neutral wire and the other line? So it is 2V here. Can you let me know in case of a 3-wire DC distribution system, what would be the voltage? If this is from positive to negative, the voltage measured is 220. What is the measurement from this point to this point? Ashik, can you tell me what would be the voltage? Ashik? Ambika? What would be the voltage? Yeah, what would be the voltage, Ambika? Himanshu, can you tell me what would be the voltage? Himanshu, can you tell me what would be the voltage of it? So if it is 2V is 220 volt. See, if this is 220 volt in 2-wire DC distribution, so this motor is connected and one of the lamps is connected. Okay, so it operates on certain voltage. Correct. So what is the voltage between the positive and the neutral wire? Can you tell me?
volts.
Exactly, Ambika. Yes, you are right. So it would be 110 volts, because the motor, which is generally a 220 volt, it takes complete 220 volt. If I want to have a 110 volt lamp or a fan which is to be operated, I cannot directly connect it to the 220 volt. Okay, so in such cases, if I have an apparatus which is having 110 volt or between 110 to 220 volt, if it wants to operate, so I'll be having a neutral wire which is to be selected such that this voltage or the lamp which is to be connected will be at that point. Okay, so that is the reason why we'll be having it as a 110 volt DC supply. Okay, so 110 volt DC supply, and you will be having 24 volt DC supply, 48 volt DC supply, 72 volt DC supply. So these are the standard voltage values which are there. Okay, so hope you got to know what do you mean by a 2-wire DC system and a 3-wire DC system. Okay, so up to this point,